Okay, if we are ready, we are ready.
We are ready, Rabbi John.
Okay, fine. Okay, Rabota, let me just get my book 1 second. I gotta put my book. Okay, so Rabota, we're gonna do today just one piece of halacha on Shabbat. It's actually not even halacha, it's introduction to the laws of Shabbat. And Bezrat Hashem, then we're gonna do something about Chanukah. Richard, we're gonna start speaking about Chanukah. You know Chanukah, yes, where you have to light the candles?
Yes, Rabbi, I'm very good with Hanukkah. Yes.
Okay, Jagadik, if you want to just pull that up for me, the presentation, we're going to go through it, and then Bezrat Hashem. Richard, I try to do something that you suggested. I'm going to see how this goes. As you guys can see in front of me, I'll read it right through, and I'll explain. And the reason why I put the year, again, we're going to go by the Jewish calendar, just to give us an idea, like whenever somebody says something, we can understand who's actually speaking. You know, a lot of times we don't realize the earlier generations, as we're going to see, it's almost about 2,000 years ago. You could imagine how great they were, because everything that they had, they remembered everything through memory. Nothing was actually written down. Today we have everything which is actually written down. And our Torah, which is the written Torah, the old Torah, they were able to memorize everything by heart. And it's nuts that we don't even have that type of memory capacity. And we'll just see, Rabotai, today as we go along, which great giants lived in the previous generations. Yes, you guys are with me? Okay, so we're going to begin the Gemara Masechet Shabbat Daf on page 10, side B. It speaks about the Talmud. I'm going to tell you right now, just in short, the Talmudic era began around 3,949 years. That's again in the Jewish year. We're right now in 5768. This began 3,949. So the difference, Rabotai,
2,000 years ago?
it's up no eight. So it's 1,837 years ago. That's when the Talmudic era, the oral Torah that we learn today, then when it was written down. Correct. Thank you, Chigarik. Appreciate it. So now, Rabotai, we're going to try to understand how Shabbat comes about. Well, just want to show you something. The Gemara brings down, it says like this. Rav says, if you give someone a gift, you should tell them. Right? A lot of people, they think, give a gift as you should tell them. So Rabotai, Rav was a very big Tana. He lived around 3,979 years in the Jewish calendar, or 2,900 year in the Gregorian calendar, when the year just began. Can you imagine? We're right now 2025. So now the difference is going to be from the Jewish calendar or the Gregorian calendar. It's 1,807 years ago. This is what Rav said. Now, Richard, why is this important to know that how long ago they lived? Just it speaks about their greatness. So he says like this: if you give something nice to your friend, you want to make it a little bit bigger so people can see? All right, thank you. If you give something nice to your friend, you should let him know who gave it and why. That is the opinion of Rav. That's what he holds. Where do we learn this from? That if you give something, you should let the people know? From the pasuk, it states in Torah, in Exodus, in 31:13, Hashem says, to know that I am Hashem who makes you holy. Now, over there, Rabotai, when you look over there, it says Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe, our teacher, by the way, Jigarik, he actually was around 2,368th year. He died on 2,488. So basically, from our Jewish calendar, it's about 3,298 years ago. So you guys can understand who we're dealing with. So Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu like this, and this is what I want to focus on. I have a special gift for the Jewish people, which is Shabbos. Go tell them, let them know the gift is from me. So now that we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem himself says to the Jewish people, meaning he said to Moshe to let the Jewish people know, so this teaches us, when you give a gift to someone, you have to tell them. What's the reason, Jigarik? Why? So they feel love, connection, and appreciation. Very important, Rabotai. When you go ahead and you give a gift to someone, you just don't give it. Surprise. No, you got to let them know who did it. We'll learn that from Hashem. Now, if you go up to number 2, Jigarik,
But does that same theory apply to tzedakah when you're giving tzedakah?
No, that's something else. No, over there we want it to be anonymous. Because when you give tzedakah, you don't want people to know about it. You want to be more humble. But here we'll see, he says over here you want to build connection with the person. So there is the Baraita Rabotai. There's another teaching. Hashem told Moshe about the gift. The Baraita repeats.
What is Baraita, Rabbi?
Baraita is a Mishnah which was never recorded inside the Mishnah. Alright, it was outside. Like, if people have, money in their bank and then have money under their mattress. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So this is something, it never made it to the Mishnayot section. So, but listen what he says. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, I have a good treasure in my vault. Its name is Shabbat. I want to give it to Bnei Israel. Go tell them. Again, we see the same concept. This shows Hashem loves us and wants us to know He's giving us something special. So we see what Shabbat is. Shabbat is not just any regular day. It's literally a gift from God. Now, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel adds a rule when it comes to giving presents. Now, he passed away around 3,810 years on that in the Jewish calendar. So it's about almost close to 2,000 years ago. And he says like this, Rabotai, if someone gives a piece of bread to a child, he must let the mother know. Why? So the mother doesn't worry, knows who was kind to her child, and appreciates the good deed. Now we have a problem, Jigarik. You know what the problem with children is? They forget very fast. Meaning, when you give, they're not going to remember. Because a child might forget to tell his mother. So now comes Abaya. Abaya lived in the year 4085, about 1700 years ago. He says, in order for the mother to realize somebody gave her something, put something noticeable on the child, like a little oil on his forehead or blue makeup around the eye. Okay? So why? So when the mother sees it, she asks, who did this? And the child will say, the man who gave me the bread. Now, the problem with this is, in later generations, people became afraid that oil or blue eyeshadow might be connected to sorcery. So what happens? Now you have to avoid doing them. So we avoid putting those on children. Instead, you should smear the child with the food you gave him. Example, if you gave him chocolate cake, put a little chocolate on his cheek. The mother sees the chocolate and says, who gave you that? And the child tells her who it was. Now, the whole Gemara teaches a gift is not just the object, it's the relationship. When you give something, tell the person so it builds love. Hashem did this with Shabbat, exactly the same thing. When Hashem gave it to us and He told Moshe Rabbeinu to let us know that that's His. Can you imagine you have something in your vault, in your treasure house, and you want to give it to somebody else, and they misuse it? How are you going to feel? So Rabotai, so we must do the same with each other. Even small kindness like bread to a child should be done with clarity and respect. So we see from over here, Shabbat was given to the Jewish people as a gift. By treasuring Shabbat, you cherish the one who gave it to you. But if Rabotai, Chas v'Shalom, we don't treat our Shabbat the proper way, what do we show Hashem? We don't treasure what you gave us. You guys are with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys have, again, this is just an introduction, just to show how important Shabbat is, and it's nothing less, Rabotai, than receiving $1 billion or $1 trillion from somebody. It should really, really, be taken into consideration that we're lucky we have a day of rest. Imagine yourselves, look, Sunday you're busy, every day of the week you're busy. The one day you get to disconnect is Shabbat. If it wouldn't be for Shabbat, Richard, I can tell you one thing, we would be running after money. That's the truth. We wouldn't stop. Because a person always wants more and more and more. If you guys have any questions on that, I'll take it before I start speaking about Chanukah.
That was clear. The one thing I just didn't understand is why a blue shadow under the eye.
So back then, this is what they actually had back then. They used to have it's not blue, it's like basic color. Just put some kind of paint. To when the mother's gonna look at him, who did this to you? He's gonna say, oh, this person that gave me this so and so. Okay?
Benjamin, you should tell Trax to join us, by the way.
Who's that? Okay.
Trax NYC. But
okay, fine.
Keep going, Rabbi. Sorry about that.
Okay, Rabotai, now we're going to start speaking about Chanukah. Everybody knows B'ezrat Hashem. We're not going to get to the laws right now. But I do want to share with you a very small insight. There's a book that's called Mitzvah Ner Ishu Beito. He says over here that in the second temple, where the evil kingdom of Yavan of the Greeks, where they ruled over the Jewish people. Now I want you guys to be careful when what I'm about to say. Just listen carefully. He says, "Gazru gizerot al Yisrael." They made decrees on the Jewish people. Ubitlu datam, and they nullified our religion. They took away from us to be able to serve God. Velo hinichu otam lasok b'Torah ubimitzvot, and they did not allow us to learn Torah and to do mitzvot. Now, Richard, I don't understand. What did the Greeks try to do? They try to take away from us to the capability to serve God. They didn't want us to learn Torah, correct? They didn't want us to do mitzvot. You were with me, Richard? What ended up happening? Okay, you're on mute. What ended up happening, Jigarik? Listen to this what ended up happening? The Greeks got defeated because that's the rule. Whoever touches the Jewish people, in the end, they will fall. Like we saw also with Purim. Haman wanted to go ahead and hang Mordechai. In the end, he got hung. You have to understand, there's not a nation that attacks the Jewish people and continues to exist. No, every single nation gets wiped out. Give me anybody who touched the Jewish people. Go ahead, Richard.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
can you do a 3-minute story? I'd like to learn more about Hanukkah. Can you just, I know it's Chai, and I know it's the dreidel, and I know all these things, maybe much less than most of the people on the call today. Can you explain it to us other than the oil, the lights? Can you please give us a little of your input on it so I can understand the holiday better, please?
Okay, so when you look at the word, so basically during the second temple, when the Greeks, that's what I'm trying to read to you over here, when the Greeks, they ruled, they made the lives of the Jewish people miserable. They didn't allow us to do mitzvot, and they didn't allow us to learn Torah. Now, the difference between Chanukah and Purim is, on Purim, Haman wanted to kill us physically. On Chanukah, they didn't want to kill you. They wanted to kill you spiritually. They didn't want you to learn Torah. Now, why is it called Chanukah, Richard? If you take the word Chanu, means to rest. Chavhei is on the 25th of Kislev. What happened was, I don't know if you know, the Hashmonaim, I think it was about 7 brothers. Now, they had a girl, I think a sister by the name of Yehudit. Now, the Greeks, they're I don't want to say the emperor, but the ruler, before a girl would have to get married, they would have to first go ahead and sleep with him. So they would have to lose their virginity to the Greek ruler. So this girl, Yehudit, one of the Heshmanit, the daughter of, I think was, I forgot his name. I have to say I forgot his name. I just did it. I forgot his name. So his daughter, what's it? I think Yochanan Cohen Gadol. I have to see who it was. His daughter, her name was Yehudit. She said, no problem, I want to go to the Greek ruler. So what did she do, Richard? She made him drunk through cheese. She was giving him cheese. The Mishnah says she gave him cheese. If you eat real cheese, it can make a person drunk. If you drink real milk from the cow, not diluted milk what we drink today, it can make a person drunk. Once she made the ruler drunk, she took a sword like a knife, she cut off his head, and she brought it to her father. Now she says, go start a war with them because they don't want to fight. That's how the whole war started. And on the 25th of Kislev, that's when we actually got our power back. And that's where the whole thing, Richard, happens, where we were looking for 1 jug of oil, and we were only able, not 1 jug, we were looking for oil, and we were only able to find 1 jug of oil. But I want to teach you, Richard, this is just an overall story of what happened on Chanukah. But there's much more in-depth, there's much more insight into that. Richard, do you know what the Greeks wanted to do to us? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
They wanted to kill us.
No, they didn't want. They wanted to take away the opportunity to be able to learn Torah, to do mitzvot. They don't want to kill you. They said live. They said live, but don't do mitzvot. Don't learn Torah.
Live physically.
Live physically, but die spiritually. That's what they wanted. But now, Rich, I want to share with you something. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, he realized it doesn't work with the Jewish people. The more you harden their life, the more you make it difficult for them, they're like an egg. The more you boil an egg, the harder it becomes. The Jewish people, the same thing. The more you attack them, the stronger they become. The more observant they become. So you know what happened, Richard? The evil inclination said, I have to come up with a different plan. I can't oppress them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give them something that they're not going to realize I'm oppressing them. This way they're going to abandon religion altogether and they're not going to learn Torah. What do you think he did? Guys, what do you think the Yetzer Hara did? Rabotai, listen to carefully. This will blow your minds away. You gotta get ready? The Yetzer Hara created such a thing that's called the internet, the media, the TikTok, YouTube. Because we are all day on it, we no longer want to serve God. Instead of oppressing us physically, the evil inclination said, why have to do it through people? It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I'm going to come. Say it again.
It's now mentally.
Now, right. Now you have to go ahead. Now you have to really fight yourself. Since there's no oppression, Jigarik, we don't feel that something bad is happening. So therefore, we're never ever going to want to grow. But that's what the real battle is in that. When you have the internet in front of you and the technology and the media, you have to be able to break off from that in order to be able to serve God. So the fight really never ended. Because Richard, how many people assimilated in the days of Chanukah? How many people you know? How many people assimilated in the days of Purim? How many people assimilated after October 7th? Very little. You know why? Because when something bad happens to the Jewish people, we unite, we become one. We start realizing that what we were doing is wrong. I saw somebody showed me a nice video of a guy all tattooed. Like, I'm talking about his, everywhere was that tattoo. Maybe you guys also saw it. He said, I thank you guys for October 7th because up to now I was thinking you guys are the real deal. But now I realize that my Judaism is more real than you guys. And he came back to God. For the first time, he had many people put on tefillin. But why does this happen, Abotai? Because of oppression. But now nobody's being oppressed, Baruch Hashem. Everybody's given the opportunity to learn Torah, do mitzvot. And what happens, Shigarik? We don't have that. We don't have that urge, that
fire in the belly.
We don't have it. We don't have it.
Right, the motivation.
We don't have it. And this is very, very sad. Until a person's back is not against the wall, he's not going to move. So really what the Greeks tried to do was kill a spirit. It didn't happen. But now, Rabota, if I can tell you stories, how many people I personally know that unfortunately assimilated and they went, forgotten. Speak to them. I spoke to one guy the other day. Whatever. I don't want to say where he is. I don't want people to catch on to who this guy is. I said, this guy at one point he was religious, whatever it was. And I told him, why don't you believe in God? He says, I eat on Yom Kippur. I eat bread on Pesach. Like, you literally forgot about God. I said, how's that possible? He says, over here we believe, he told me he has a lot, he started buying many dogs, whatever it was. He said, over here we believe that dogs become human beings. Since when do dogs become human beings? But that's their belief system, Rabotai. How many people we lose to the outside world because unfortunately there's nobody oppressing them. We don't need oppression, Rabotai. If a person forces himself like an olive, when you squeeze an olive, you're able to get the cleanest, purest olive oil. But that's what we have to do with each other, Rabotai, with oneself. It's hard for you to get up in the morning. Force yourself. The more you force yourself, the more you're going to be able to get done. So Richard, in reality, what the Greeks wanted to do back then, a few thousand years ago, it didn't happen. Now it's happening. The evil inclination came around. He befriended us. You know who you have to be afraid of, Jigarik? Not your enemy. Because you know what your enemy is up to. What you have to be afraid of is your friend. Because your friend could be your enemy and you'll never know. That's what a person really has to be afraid of. We don't understand that the evil inclination is on guard 24/7 days a week trying to bring us down. We don't realize that. We think, we put it on the book. We put on tefillin. No, the second you forget about God, Richard, she comes into your mind. That's it, finished. That's it. Okay. Anyway, boys, I have to conclude over here. I have another class at 5:30. If you guys have questions, I'll take it. If not, Bezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow.
Rabbi, it's always the closest to you that do it to you.
Yeah, right. The closest one. Richard, you are on mute. On mute.
Rabbi,
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
that doesn't apply to Georgians, Rabbi.
It doesn't apply to Georgians. I don't know who this. Okay, fine. I hope. I don't.
Georgians always got in.
Say it again. Say it again.
Say Georgians are very loyal. Once you're a friend, that's it. It's done.
How many friends you have, Mike?
A handful.
That's a problem. That means you have no friends, Mike.
Rabbi, why Georgians don't have Kohen and not Levi?
I don't know. One second, Mike. Can I tell you something, Mike? It says in Pirkei Avot, in the ethical teaching of our forefathers, it says you have to buy yourself a friend.
A friend.
No, you know that, right? You know that teaching?
Correct.
You have to. If you have a lot of friends, that's a problem. You have to buy yourself a friend. You know, there was a story one time. You guys probably are familiar with the story.
How do you do that, Rabbi? What do you mean by that?
You really have to buy a friend, like literally with money. You have to buy a friend. No, you have to buy somebody who's going to be with you no matter what. You know, one time they said a story of a father. He wanted to show his children that they don't have friends and I have friends. He had one friend. So what did he do? He took, you know, some kind of bear, put some ketchup inside, you know, made a little bit like a little blood. He said to the children, listen, we got to bury this body. Oh, what do you mean? We can't do it over here because they know it's me. We have to bury somewhere else. He said, let's go to your friends. Every friend shut the door on them. He said, come, let me show you. I only have one friend. Let me show you my friend. The second, he said, I have to bury this body. He said, go with me to the back right now. So really, in reality, Mike, you should know the true friend, the one that we can have, the only one you can have, at least when you're married, is your wife. At least when you're married. Even that, Rabotai, is a question. Yeah, only if you know the stories that come to my ears. You know, the second they get divorced, they're after your money, they're after your possessions, they're after your assets. It's nuts what goes on. Don't trust everyone, Mike. Don't trust everyone. Like the rabbis of Blessed Mary teach us. How does it go? He says, respect but suspect. Respect but suspect. Thank you. So maybe by Georgians is the exception. I don't know about that. I don't know. I could say by Bukharians, but
just trying to give Georgians a plug, Rabbi. He's just trying to give Georgians
I
a
hear.
plug.
Rabbi, it's the old Georgian saying, but it says the following. If friends were good, Hashem will have a friend too.
Hashem has partners. Where's partners?
Very nice, very nice.
Guys, all the best, guys.
No problem, guys. No problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you. Jugarik, I'll see all of you guys. I'll see you
Rabbi,
tomorrow.
thank you.
No problem. No
Thank you,
problem.
Rabbi.
No problem, guys.
Take care.
Bye.